This is the video for 373 to 374, 21 to 37 odd. Your homework was 22 to 38 even. Alright, so for 21 through, let me see here, 27, it tells us to use synthetic division, okay? So the first thing you need to do is look at what you're dividing by, your divisor, which is x minus 5. And remember, you always put in the box the opposite sign because the formula is x minus c. And then make sure that your exponents go down by 1. So we have 2, 1, 0. So we're good. We're just going to write our coefficients. 1, 3, and negative 40. So remember, drop mama. You drop your first number, and then you multiply. So 5 times 1 is 5. And then write it here. And then you add. So 3 plus 5 is 8. And the reason it's drop mama is it's multiply, add, multiply, add. Okay? So now we're going to multiply again. 5 times 8 is 40. And it goes right there. And then add. Negative 40 plus 40 is 0. So if you have 0, that means you have no remainder. And remember, you always start from 1 degree less than what you started with. So you started with x squared, so we're going to start with x. So you take your coefficient, so it's 1x plus 8, and that's your answer. So we would really just say x plus 8. You don't need the 1. Okay, so again, we're going to put in the box is going to be the opposite sign of the number, so it would be negative 6. Check to make sure you go down by 1. So 2, 1, 0, we're good there. So 1, 5, and negative 6. Okay? So remember, drop mama. So drop your first number, multiply. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. So that's going to go right here. And then technically you're adding these together. However, if you want to look at it as subtracting, that's fine. 5 minus 6 is negative 1. And then multiply again. Negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6. That goes here. And then you add. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So again, we have a remainder of 0. We started with squared, so we're going to start with just x. So it's 1x minus, because it's negative 1 here, 1. And so it's 1x minus 1, which of course we could just write x minus 1. Okay, so here we've got dividing by x minus 2. So what's going to go in your box is a positive 2. And then check your exponents, 3, 2, 1, 0. So I'm good there. List your coefficients, 1, negative 7, negative 13, and 5. Drop mama, drop your first number. Multiply, add, multiply, add. So multiply 2 times 1. Write it here. You get 1. So that was multiply. Now we add. Negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. Then we multiply again. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. That goes right here. And then you add. So negative 13 plus negative 12 is the same as negative 13 minus 12. So negative 13 minus 12 is negative 25. Then you multiply again. 2 times negative 25 is negative 50. That goes here. And then you add again. But again, adding a negative is the same as subtracting. So 5 minus 50 is negative 45. So we're going to start one exponent down. So we started with x cubed, so we're going to start with x squared. So it's 1x squared minus 6x minus 25. And your last number is always your remainder. So we write minus, because it's negative, 45 over x minus 2. Because remember, you always put it over what you're dividing by. And this is your answer. I'm just going to make that 1 part of my box because we don't really need that 1 there. So it's x squared minus 6x minus 25 minus 45 over x minus 2. Okay. Okay, so we are dividing by x minus 2. So we're going to start with a positive 2 in the box, and we go 2, to 0. So we're going to have to add in, so we're going to make it 4x squared plus 0x minus 9 instead. So we've got 4, 0, negative 9. So drop mama, bring down your first number, multiply, then add. So 2 times 4 is 8. Then add, 0 plus 8 is 8. Then again, multiply, 2 times 8 is 16. And add, negative 9 plus 16 is what? 5. Just kidding, 7. Wow, I was having a moment there. So positive 7. So you're going to write, we started with squared, so you'll start with x. So 4x plus 8 plus 7 is our remainder over x minus 2. Okay? Anyone notice that this was difference of squares? So what could you do over here? You could say 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. So always check, because if something like that happens and then they were to cancel, it could make you a lot easier to get to your answer. This helps in no way, but with all that factoring we've just done, difference of squares jumps out at me. 2. All right, so 29 through 30, whatever we're going to, it just says divide, so we can choose whichever way we'd like. On this one, I'm just going to choose breaking it up and seeing what cancels, since we are dividing by just a monomial here. So I'm going to give my denominator to every single piece of my numerator, kind of working backwards from what we did when we were adding and subtracting rational expressions. Okay, so let's see what cancels. We've got 4 and 4. This x cancels one of these x's, making it a 6. These y's cancel all but one of those y's. So what's left? An x to the 6th and a y. So you can go ahead and write that if you want. Plus, don't forget your plus. Then here we've got 8 divided by 4 is 2. The x's cancel. These two x's cancel all but one of these x. So that what you're left with in the second fraction is just 2 over y. And then in your third fraction, the 4's cancel, the x's cancel, and the y cubes cancel. Does that mean that everything cancels? Yes, but do you not write anything? No, you must write a 1. So then down here we just put plus 1. And that is our answer. Okay, so because we are dividing by 2x minus 1, and there is a coefficient in front of the x, you must use long division on this problem. That's your only option. So you have 2x minus 1 divided by 10x cubed minus 5x squared minus 12x plus 1. And before I wrote that, I checked to make sure I went down by 1. X cubed, x squared, x, and then 0. So you're good. So 2x times what gives me 10x cubed? 5x squared. Then you multiply. 5x squared times 2x is 10x cubed. 5x squared times negative 1 is negative 5x squared. Always change your signs. 10x cubed minus 10x cubed is 0. That should always happen. Negative 5x squared plus 5x squared is actually also 0. Then you're going to bring down negative 12x. So you can do this one of two ways. You can say 2x times what gives me 0 and go that route, or you can just go straight to 2x minus 12, or how many times is it going to negative 12x? So we're going to do that. So we're going to say 2x times what gives me negative 12x, and that is negative 6. So that would go down here. So then you have negative 6 times 2x is negative 12x. And when you do that, you have to go ahead and bring down your next term as well. So you would just bring down 2 terms there. And then negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6. Change your signs. And you end up with 12x and negative 12x give you 0, but 1 minus 6 gives you negative 5. So then your remainder is minus 5 over 2x minus 1. So when you write your answer, it's 5x squared minus 6 minus 5 over 2x minus 1. Okay, now on this one, because you're just dividing by x minus 4, you can actually do synthetic division if you want. So because you're dividing by negative 4, you're going to put a positive 4 in the box. Apparently I'm writing this one in blue. Now look at your exponents. 3, 2, 0. Uh-oh, so we need to change that up a bit. So we need to change it to 2x cubed minus 6x squared. I'm missing the x, so I'm going to do plus 0x minus 4. And that's where I'm going to get my coefficients from. So I'm going to do 2, negative 6, 0, and negative 4. And then we do drop mama. Drop your first number, multiply, and then add. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then you're going to add negative 6 plus 8 is 2. Then you're going to multiply again. 4 times 2 is 8. And then you're going to add again. 0 plus 8 is 8. Then you're going to multiply again. 4 times 8 is 32. And then you're going to add again. Negative 4 plus 32 is 28. Now you look at where you started. You started with x cubed, and you start your first coefficient with x squared. One less. So it's 2x squared plus 2x plus 8. And remember, your last number is always your remainder. Since it's positive, we do plus 28 over x minus 4. And that is your answer. Okay? Again, because we're dividing by just x minus 5, we can do this synthetically. It's a positive 5 is going to go here. I'm going to switch back to black. There we go. Positive 5 is going to go here. Check your exponents. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good. So we go 2, then negative 13, then 16, then negative 9, and then 20. Okay, so drop mama, bring down your 2. That's drop your first number. And then multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. And add. Negative 13 plus 10 is negative 3. Multiply. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. And add. Remember, adding a negative is the same as subtracting. So 16 minus 15 is 1. Multiply. 5 times 1 is 1. 5 times 1 is 5, not 1. And then add. Negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. Multiply. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. And then add. You're adding a negative, which is the same as subtracting. 20 minus 20 is 0, which is nice, means you have no remainder. So we started with x to the 4th. So you'll always start your first coefficient with 1 less, so it'll be x to the 3rd. So it's 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 1x, which is just x, minus 4. There is no remainder on this one, so that is your answer. Okay. All right, and last one. Looks like we can still use synthetic division because we're only dividing by, there's no coefficient in front of the x. So I'm going to use the opposite, which is negative 1. Now be careful, your numbers are not in order here, so you need to write them in order. So that would be 3x cubed, and just pay attention to your signs, plus 7x squared minus 4x plus 12. So notice, because it's a negative 4x, it's negative 4x here. Positive 3, positive 3, positive 7, positive 7, positive 12, positive 12. Be careful with your signs. Now, since they go down 3, 2, 1, 0, you're good. Write your coefficients, 3, 7, negative 4, and 12. Drop mama. Drop your first number. Multiply. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Add. 7 plus negative 3 is the same as 7 minus 3, so you get 4. Multiply. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. And then add. Adding a negative is the same as subtracting. So negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. Multiply. negative 1 times negative 8 is positive 8. And then add. 12 plus 8 is 20. And that's our remainder, because remember, your last number is always your remainder. So we started with x cubed. So you always go, first number is always the coefficient of 1 less. So we're going to go 3x squared plus 4x minus 8. Since it's a positive 20, we do plus 20 over x plus 1. And that's our answer. And that's it. You guys are done. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.